G'day folks, and welcome back. Welcome back to The Mental Fisherman. My name's Dan Webber and I appreciate you being here. As mentioned in a previous episode, it does get pretty heavy. There's some pretty heavy shit that I'm going to talk about in this channel, so please be warned. And if you are in any way feeling like you're struggling with mental illness, make sure you reach out to somebody, whether that be a family member, a friend, or a professional helpline, a psychologist, whatever it might be. I am by no means professional. I'm just here at the moment. In this episode, I'm going to share my story and share where it all fell apart a bit for me. What did I used to call it? I used to say when I fell over. Basically, 2017, I had a mental breakdown. A quick wrap up of how we got to where we are. We've been living in Cootamundra by this stage for, what was it? I think 2010 is when we bought here. Yeah, that'll be about right. So we're 7 years after I'd first bought here. We've had a house built, I've bought my boat, and I am finally, having known that shit was going south, knowing that stuff was building up and that I wasn't connecting with my own, checking in with myself and my own mental well-being, started to try and grab a little bit of time back for myself. I guess the trouble is that I hadn't really made the time. I was basically just trying to jam a bit of recreation time in amongst everything else. So I arranged with my good mate Pete, my best mate Pete. I've known Pete for my whole life, ever since kindergarten. And he's definitely one of those mates who has always been there for me when I've needed somebody. And, you know, Pete's a pretty cool guy to fish with. There's never a whole lot of expectations for Pete, which makes it a pretty easy bloke to hang out with. He's a top bloke actually. Anyways, we're going up to Blowering for a weekend. So knock off work on, I guess I can say it was a Thursday afternoon. Head up Thursday afternoon to Blowering, and yeah, I think it was. It's a bit of it is a bit of a blur. So it is a bit of a blur. Get up there, fish, have a few beers, catch a few, I think we caught a few redfin, a couple of cod. And we're out on the water. So it had been a really rough, sort of choppy, windy weather. It had been quite cold and wet and miserable, but we'd persisted through all that crap. And finally the sun had come out on a Sunday, beautiful Sunday morning. I do remember we were in sort of half tucked into one of the bays. We were on a good patch of redfin, just having a bit of fun. We were pulling these good sized filletable redfin in one after the other. It was sunny and it was quite calm in this particular bay. And I just got this near on indescribable upwelling of emotion, feelings of absolute dread, just like the worst of the worst of the worst things you could possibly imagine to think of. And it's like that had just happened to me in that moment. And it came in waves. I mean, it knocked me off my feet. I basically more or less collapsed in the bottom of my boat. I don't know, poor old Pete, he must have just been wondering what the hell was going on. I mean, the first reaction is it's some sort of a physical issue that was happening. You know, am I having a heart attack or a bloody stroke, or I don't know. And anyone who's been in that situation will know what that feels like, and it's pretty bloody. It's horrific, actually. Absolutely horrific. Yeah, just absolute dread. The first thing I thought of was call my wife to check that she was okay. You know how people talk about, you know, if you have a family member or something that something bad happens to, you get some sort of sixth sense, a bit of a feeling about it. I thought, you know, maybe something bad had happened, and I was feeling that. Anyway, I called her, and remember talking to her and just saying, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm just feeling really bad. And anyway, she was fine. And I thought, oh, well, that's not it. But it just kept coming back, just wave after wave. And I don't know, it's really hard to describe. It's almost like I was leaving my body, or yeah, how do I actually bloody describe it? I just felt like I was disappearing, like I was dying, like I was failing to exist anymore. Not dying as, oh, I'm hurting, I'm dying, I'm stopping from breathing or whatever. It was just as though I was just bloody disappearing, vaporizing off the edge of the bloody earth. Like, nah, that's not even right. It was just I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was a bit better with my words, and maybe I might have a chance of describing this, but I can't. I'm sorry. I just still to this day I can't actually describe what it feels like. I just felt like I was just not in my body. I wasn't in touch with my body, with my feelings, and I, eventually it got to the point where I said to Pete, we've got to get off the water. We're a fair way from where the ute and camp was set up, and I said we've got to get out of here. And I'm sorry, mate. I can't tell you what's going on, but my heart's pounding out of my chest, and I'm getting sweats, even though it was pretty cool weather. It was August at the time. Anyway, and he's still thinking like I was that it's a physical problem. So what do you do? If we get back to camp, we tie my brand new boat up, and I mean, this is a boat that I've absolutely, I've really worked hard for this thing. It's my pride and joy. It's actually parked just over there. It's still the same boat that, if you follow my other channel or see my socials, that's the boat that I still fish out of today. Absolutely love that boat, and it was brand new and shiny at the time, and we left it there. So I jumped in the passenger seat, Pete in the driver's seat of my ute, and we drove to Tumut Hospital, and I fronted to the Tumut emergency wing and said, I'm dying. Something's wrong. Something's not right. Something's going on. I can't describe it, but I don't know if I'm having a heart attack or what's going on. I'm just getting these massive waves of adrenaline and emotion and feelings of dread. And anyway, so I didn't even walk. I virtually stumbled out of the car, and they got a bloody wheelchair and wheeled me into the joint. That's how much it had manifested itself into physicality. It was all in my bloody head. It was all in my head. I had a massive panic attack. And so I couldn't even bloody walk. They wheeled me in and put me into a bed, and they put an ECG on me and checked me blood and me blood pressure, and I don't know, they might have put me on a drip even and done these scans. We went into another room and scanned all that up. There's nothing wrong with me. My heart was beating fine. My blood pressure was probably off a little bit, but, blood sugars and iron levels and all that crap that they bloody tested, and there was nothing physically wrong with me. I'd allowed it to get around me for that long, that when I actually slowed down my brain, it pounced. It pounced. And I fell apart. My poor buddy family couldn't work out what the hell was going on. They're rushing here and there, and Tumut's about 100 k's from home, and Lyndon's at home with young kids, and didn't know what the hell was going on. We had to arrange cars to be driven here and there, and anyway, they couldn't find anything wrong. And I think it was the next day or the day after, it started to dawn on me. I started to work out what had happened. I started to work out that I'd had a massive panic attack. The wheels had fallen off. I'd crashed. My body was exhausted. My mind was completely depleted. And my body couldn't take it anymore. My mental state had worn through into my physical state, and for at least that first 2 weeks I was near flat on my back. I was crying all the time. Physically I could hardly get up and move about. I remember sitting, there was one chair, we've got these nice wing-back chairs next to the fireplace there, and I'd sit in that bloody chair for hours at a time. And every time I got up, I just had no energy to do anything. And I'm still trying to run a business at this time, and I honestly don't even remember what Jace was up to. I know I had a house going on for a fella in town here, and he took the reins and run that job. He was still an apprentice at the time. A bit later on in his apprenticeship, and I was just on the sidelines trying to help him through it and go down to the job there and try and set out some things and keep the job going so I could get that job done for that customer and support Jace to try and get the job done too. And it's a wash. I don't even know. I don't even know how we got through it. I don't even know how I eventually started putting one foot in front of the other. I'd fallen down in a big way, and it was probably all preventable. If I'd have just checked in, fessed up a bit to what was going on. Previous to that, I was having panic attacks every single night, sometimes several times. Bad from some of them where I would just sit up in bed and yell. Some of them I would actually, the flight or fight mechanism that works in your brain, which basically helps you decide whether to run from danger or fight the danger, would kick in, and I would sit bolt upright in bed, throw the covers off, and I would run from my bedroom across in front of me fireplace to the back door, and I would get to the back veranda before I would actually stop myself and go, what are you running from? What are you doing out here? Sometimes I'd keep going. I'd walk off down the paddock and clear my head down there and talk myself down, and I'd come back to bed until the next one got a hold of me. And I would just follow these awful rabbit holes of thought into absolute despair. And if I had have stopped it then, I live a lot on things happen for a reason. Yeah, sometimes I wonder what that bloody reason was, because if I had have stopped myself then, life would have been very different. But maybe I wouldn't be sitting here today trying to help somebody else not to get there.